Welcome back to CCRPG. We are returning to our pilots in the depths of Lumiere Salacia after having a strangely lucky session where they blew through every challenge I threw at them. I'm sure their luck will hold out. I am not cursing them right now. It's all okay. Anyway, they have successfully taken out the commander of the station. They have found a bevy of spy information. They have even found schematics for the glint arm and the why can't I remember the dust arm? The two new experimental models that Operation Nucleus are manufacturing were able to insert a flaw to the ones being manufactured on this station. It has been just win after win for these guys. So we're going to return to our players right where we left off as Steve and Astro arrive in the logistics office. You two have just made your way past the now deactivated symphonic dolls outside. And once entering, I described the room, which I'll do again for the sake of the new recording. It is a large square room with a grand X-shaped glass walls in the center that don't reach entirely to the wall, so that you can walk around it, but you can see through it. At the center where these walls intersect, creating the center of the X, there is a circular table-like terminal that goes through all four corners so that you can kind of access the terminal no matter which corner you're in of the two intersecting glass walls. There are window-like displays all along the outside of the room that are camera displays or some sort of tactical display that's currently showing the outside of the station, where as you entered, you are seeing the Oath rebels outside rebuffing yet another small reinforcement wave coming from Operation Nucleus, but they are flagging. They are looking to be running out of resources with the people they have sent with you. As you arrive in this logistics room, Astro and Steve, what do you do here?
All right, so it's a fleet logistics room. So Astro is interested in seeing if he can find some information about where the rest of the reinforcements are right now.
Yeah, and I'd like to investigate as well.
Okay. So there are many terminals in this room, so you guys can kind of go at it at the same time as each other. Astro, you're looking for more like live, up to the date information, like what is happening outside right now and kind of like evaluating the situation you're currently in, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And then Steve, what is your investigation looking for here?
I just whatever information I can find, really.
Trying
in
to see
on it.
kind of what kind of information you can get a hold of here, essentially.
Yeah,
okay.
What I have access to and what I don't.
Okay.
That kind of thing. Or we. Yeah.
We're going to do these one at a time. Let's do Astro's first. Astro, go ahead and make your current like live reading of like what situation this station finds itself in. What are you using?
Would investigate work here?
It would. It'll take you a little bit of time, but you can absolutely do it.
All right. I will roll investigate. +2. Only gives me a 5. See, the pendulum might be swinging back here, at least for me.
Astro, you spend your time trying to basically re-aim the purpose of this room, which is more a grand strategy room than it is like a local tactical room, right? This is like, you realize now, as the two of you look at these like glass intersecting walls, this is like fleet map stuff. This is like, you could on these crisscrossing displays basically 3D model the pathways of like paths around the Signian regions, right? It's like these two intersecting windows kind of show almost what if, a flat map does not do space justice. So it's like, what if you had two maps that intersect with one another so that you could have X, Y, and Z coordinates for everything? That's what you're basically in. And you're trying to look at a very small area, and it just takes you some time to like reorient your terminal to look at the things you want. I mean, you still get information here. It's just not a lot of information. They're sending reinforcements. It is ultimately a gnat a fly in the oil of what this kind of room is concerned with. You do see though that they are sending reinforcements, and while not as often as you would expect, you do see that it has evidence of the last like 2 waves that were sent that were like fast response waves. Based on the data you're reading, those were like delaying forces to prevent escape, and they're getting together the reason that those 2 waves came quickly is because they were delaying forces, and they're prepping something bigger to come at you now.
Okay.
That's what you get, Astro. But it takes Astro a long time to get this information. Steve, I would like you to make your check as you examine these.
Okay. I think it's just investigate. I mean, read a situation doesn't really work here.
Read a situation's probably not what we're going to be using for this.
So I'll just roll an investigate.
Steve,
I rolled a 1.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, it's not. It's taking you a while, and partially because you are slightly, what's the word? Back-footed by what you start to see the evidence of. This is a lot of information in here, more than you expected to find, and seems to be information on something bigger than you expected. It's like one of those things where it's like, okay, what am I feeling here? This is pretty creepy. And then you pull back and you're like touching the toe of an elephant, right? It's like one of those things where it's like you didn't realize what you were starting to look at until you pulled back your perspective, and you're like, oh, we're dealing with a lot more than you expected, but it's going to take you a while to sort through this. And in fact, you don't even know if you're the best person to look through this.
Astro.
Yeah.
Can you help me out here?
Yeah. What do you got?
Can you help me look at this and make heads or tails of it? And also, this seems important. Can you put this on a hard drive?
Certainly, we can start downloading some data here. I think Astro sort of got the same sense you did, just because he was looking up fleet locations for reinforcements, and he realizes it's much larger scale than he expected. So he's going to say, this room seems to have more operational capacity than I was expecting.
A lot more.
Yeah.
Do you know what this implies, Astro?
Nothing good.
All right. Well, let's see if you can get the information you're looking for.
Okay. I was kind of deciding if I want to take a more hacky approach where I try to break into the system to get at the information In a
I'd
better
also
way,
like to
but
assist any way
Okay.
that I could as well.
Yeah, your approach will dictate how you get what you get and parts of what you get. So think carefully about how you want to go about this.
I think I'd still need a better understanding of what we're dealing with before I start trying to hack stuff. So I'm just gonna look at what Steve has discovered so far and try to make some heads or tails of it. I think it's just yeah.
Go ahead.
I think it's just going to be another investigate check for me.
Okay. Because of Steve's background, you will get accuracy on this.
Okay, great. I rolled a 22, all told.
With the two of you together, Astro, you are able to very fluidly interact with the systems, while Steve gives you a little bit of guidance to, whoa, wait, what was that kind of stuff? And actually, I think that's important kind of stuff, because Steve, you are looking through this with the eye of someone who knows large-scale militaries. You start getting the sense, watching over Astro's shoulder, and Astro, you start getting the sense as you pull this information up that maybe you were underestimating how big this operation was. You start looking at comparative data. What they're building here, based on their projections, would be a fleet large enough to rival the entire current operating capacity of CORSEC. They are building an entire new military from the ground up, from first principles, to be the same size as, if not larger than, what CORSEC can already bring to bear. If two fleets of these sizes were ever to get in conflict with one another, it would burn down probably half of the entire nation.
Yeah.
This is an incredible amount of information, and you are surprised at the level of access you have, because this is the personal logistics area of the second in command of one of the main players in this operation. You got lucky to find Commander Attain's station in the state it's in, because there are very few people who would have access to this information, because here is what you get: fleet sizes, patrol locations, you get refueling stops, you get supply lines, you get training areas, you get where patrol routes are, what routes they would use, safe ports. This is all the information about the operations of something the size of an entire nation's military at your fingertips.
Yeah. That's huge. That's like imagine having access to all top secret military information for the US or something.
This is
War Thunder?
This is the kind of information that the commander general, what if a brigadier general had all his information in one place? That is what you have in front of you. This is an insane amount of info, and it portends something that I don't think either of you expected, which is this hidden operation where these three corporations were pulling together enough resources that should be enough to resurrect a planet, have all been being diverted into making an army the likes of which has not been seen.
Astro says, this is not good. This is very bad.
Can you get a hard copy of it?
Can I fit everything? Is this something that you would need insane storage requirements to
You can get
all
it.
this data?
You would have to get it across like 3.
Okay. Astro.
3 floppy disks.
3 UMDs.
They're really good UMDs, okay?
Yeah.
Astro's like,
The funny thing is, you don't have to use your own. This station has the protocols to basically export this data in a much more official looking way than even you were using. Basically, there is a compartment built onto the side of this terminal that looks like an open attaché case. And in that attaché case, there are holes, like 3 holes. And if you set it up to export, those 3 holes will be fitted with the information as it exports 1/3 of the information onto each. If you start the process, it will take a little bit of time, but it will fill up one, it'll get inserted into the case. And this is all behind basically bulletproof glass until it's done, and then it'll open.
interesting. And then I'll be able to take a UMD from there.
You'll be able to take the attaché case out, which has the 3 of them in it. It's like someone downloading the nuclear suitcase.
Right. I'll say to Steve, yep, I'm starting the process on exporting all this data. I'll point to that attaché case. Should be done. It's a lot, but we should be able to get it all on 3 UMDs.
Has the process started? Are we just waiting for it now at this point?
Yeah, I guess it started. It's probably going to take, you said, a little bit of time, Bob?
Yeah, maybe like 10 minutes. It's like starting the information. You watch as this terminal starts showing like all this incredible amount of very precise tactical data, supply lines, troop movements, troop quality, troop quantity, supply bases, everything is being downloaded line by line.
I just have to say, this is extremely sensitive data. Like, this is very hot to handle, if you know what I mean. Like, we're not just painting targets on our backs. We're asking to be, killed if
Astro,
anyone finds out we have this.
As you're saying that, you feel the barrel of a gun point into the back of your neck.
What?
Are you behind me?
I am behind you,
Okay.
yes.
Astro,
You're right.
Astro will be like, oh, what's going on? And he'll turn around.
I'm pointing a gun like right at you. Astro,
he's so surprised that he turns around. Okay, so you don't like shoot me.
No, I don't shoot you.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Astro, I think I need to explain some things to you. Let's start by you dropping your guns.
Okay, I get we all need to find some levity in the situation, but can we save the jokes for when we're back on the DBC?
Astro, drop your guns.
Steve, like, come on. What are you doing?
I cock back the barrel.
He's like, okay, okay. And he drops his guns, the shotgun. He lays down his shotgun and then he lays down his pistol.
And I don't think he has access to the other pistol he took.
No, it's like zipped up in his, like, the backpack of the hard suit he's wearing.
Okay. I just kind of kick them both away and then take a few steps back and go, Astro, do you know what the Noesis mandate really is?
I guess not.
No.
What do they have to do with anything?
I've been working for them the entire time. Originally, I was sent here to keep an eye on Ren and their group and what they've been doing. They're an unknown. So that was my job, to investigate.
Okay, I'm not sure I understand. What are you saying?
This is more important than that. This, if I can get this back to my people, could change everything. This kind of strategic information could redefine the war that's coming. And there is a war coming, whether it's between these two corpos or others.
Hold on. Your people, the Noesis Mandate, what are they going to do?
What they need to, what's right for people. Astro, the reason you're not dead right now is because I like you. I like this crew. I think you're a good person. So I want you to come with me, but I want you to know what that means. I killed RC because he started to figure out who I was, where I came from.
No, he just found another job. What are you talking about?
That's what I set up for you to find.
I don't understand. Why the secrecy? Couldn't we have worked together?
We were working together, you just didn't know about it.
What about the dialectics? Do you not trust them?
They're, like I said, an unknown element. I was investigating them. I'd like to think that maybe there's something that could be done there. A level of peace, working together, camaraderie, who knows? But what I do know is that this is more important.
The
Astro,
first of the 3 UMDs finishes and loads into the case.
Astro, I'm giving you a choice right now. Come with me. We can work together and take this back to the Noesis Mandate.
Or what? You're going to shoot me?
No, not if I don't have to. You have to understand, this is more important than anything. I would kill Jessica if I had to get this to them. But
Does Jessica know about this?
Yes, she's been with me the entire time.
So you've been working together with the Noesis Mandate, both of you. Is our ship safe?
It's as far as I know.
Did you tell her to do anything to the ship if things go wrong here?
Astro, the ship is not important right now.
It's our means of living. You killed RC. Why should I trust anything you say?
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you. If you're going to make this choice, then I want you to have the truth and to make the choice with the knowledge. I'm not trying to trick you.
He scoffs at that. Not trying to trick me? What were you doing before then?
I also kind of chuckle a little and go, any more?
I need to sit down. He collapses into like one of the chairs by the X terminal in the center. And just like puts his head in his hands. It's like, what is the Noesis Mandate? I thought they had. Who are you guys?
We're fighting for order in the universe. We are.
I don't like the sound of that. How do you plan to enforce order?
I don't make that decision, but I sure as hell don't want to leave it up to all these corporations and everything they've done. At least with the Noesis Mandate, you can work for something. They'll listen to you. You can mean something. Here, you're lucky if you get something strapped to your spine and you're used as a doll.
Dialectics, they're trying to help the people who are resisting. How do I know the Noesis mandate doesn't just, establish some sort of fascist order across the entire Cygna state? I don't
I
know
think
anything about you guys. How can I hand over this data to you?
that isn't negotiable at this point. I'm not asking for the data, Astro. I'm asking you to join us.
What does that entail, joining you? What would we do
Well,
next?
We'll get this data out, and our mission will change. I can't afford to have us contact the Dialectics or anyone else. We will go dark, and we will leave, and we will head to Noesis Mandate Space. We will take this information to them. And then from there, we will likely be praised as heroes.
Listen, Steve, I want to say yes to that. I want to agree. But I had a job to do for Ren, for the Dialectics. And my reputation doesn't mean anything if I can just turn on a dime like that.
Steve just smiles at you and goes, Yeah, I kind of figured. And maybe that's why I like you so much. I start moving towards you.
I'll say, but couldn't we still help each other? Couldn't we establish a dialogue?
Like what?
I don't know. If I give you the data, maybe you can share it with us. I think we're working towards the same thing. Why?
Astro, you don't understand. There cannot be loose ends. This station is going to have to be destroyed. They can't know that we took this data. They could likely change it. The more this remains intact, the less people that find it and know about it, the better. It's too important.
If this is the way the Noesis mandate handles things, through cold-hearted logic, I don't feel very optimistic about what their world order is going to look like.
Well, that's too bad then. And I would like to take out one of my stims and use it on Astro as a sedative.
Astro, do you try to resist?
Yes, I will. Let me think. I will try to roll away before you can do that.
All right. Steve, I will need a...
Actually, no. I'm going to try to knock it out of his hand.
Okay. This is going to be an opposed pilot check. I'll need pilot checks from both of you based on the action you are doing. Steve, because he has the upper hand in this scenario, has you at gunpoint, you're seated down, you have your weapons away. Comet, you're going to be able to roll normally, but Steve, you're going to have accuracy.
All right.
I'm going to use take control.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to go get some more quickly to beat him to the punch, if that makes sense.
Oh, let me read the extended for get somewhere quickly.
Or read a situation to catch him before he has a chance to. Kind of like read that he's going to do it.
That reads as more likely to counter what he's doing. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that then.
I would argue, for the sake of Astro, I would make the argument that I'm the one being reactive here, not Steve.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, this is for him to read the maneuver you're about to pull on him.
Okay.
That's what the read a situation is for.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying as Astro. I get that.
Let me put it this way. If no one makes a roll, Steve walks up and hits you with this stem. So this is like, that's table stakes, right? If nothing happens, the status quo is he stims you. If you do something to counter that, that is your take control of the situation. If that works, you can knock it out of his hand, and then we're in a different situation. His counter to you knocking it out of the hand is seeing you're about to do that.
It makes sense.
Okay.
I just feel for Astro's sake.
No, totally.
He'd want me to make that argument for Astro.
Totally. I don't know what's going to happen. This is a play and find out what happens situation. So let's see both your rolls.
Ooh. I rolled a 16.
Ooh.
I rolled a 23.
Damn.
Oh my god. Damn.
Sorry, Astro.
You had a good roll. You rolled a 14 plus 2. And if it wasn't for the fact that Steve is just a better military man than you are, he is. He's a soldier.
Yeah.
And he had you at a disadvantaged position. He rolled a 13 plus 4 plus another 6 for his accuracy, which brings him up to a 23. Steve, I'll let you narrate from here.
There's a quick moment where I go to the stem and Astro tries to knock it out of his hand, and he almost does, as Steve just quickly gains control by using his foot to push down on Astro in the chair, and then just stims him with a sedative right in the neck or arm. It doesn't matter, I suppose.
COMET, Astro, as this sedative starts to fill your weakened system, because you've taken a significant amount of damage in this mission, you feel groggy almost immediately, and you feel it pulling down on your muscles. This is no normal sedative stim. This is something stronger. And as you start to fade, you have a moment where you're still lucid enough to speak. Do you say anything, Astro?
I'll just say, Steve, don't do this. And then he fades away.
You will maybe catch bits and pieces of this as I get to your Omni hook and make a call. You'll probably catch Tabitha. I've got a priority 0. You need to send the paladin.
Is there my state right now? So like I can hear bits and pieces, but I probably can't take any sort of actions.
You can't take physical actions, but you will remember this. It's not like you're going to lose your memory. Everything you just heard, you know.
Yeah. Okay, but there's nothing I could do even in a groggily, drunken way.
If you stand up, you will fall over. At this point, you're about to slump out of your chair as you hear this.
There's okay.
Did you had me worried when you rolled a 16 there for a second.
That was a pretty good roll.
At this moment, I would say that Chimera and Orion, or probably a couple minutes later, will receive a message. And I'll tell you what that message is when that time happens, I suppose.
So we're going to transition and pivot back to the other team. Evelene and Dyne, you find yourself in the HR room. You have just incapacitated the person who was piloting all the symphonic dolls here, and find a data bank room and work room, office room that has a variety of information about the inner workings of this. What do you do?
I mean, I assume we should just start playing around and seeing what we can find out. Collect information, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you tell me what you're looking for and what you're trying to do here.
So I think the big thing I'm interested in is, so there was a new initiative to, to rectify lack of resources. I want to see if there's any information about that.
Okay. Yeah, totally. What is the pilot check you make here? All of the terminals in here are basically unlocked. You have access to just move around in here because you took out the person guarding it.
Gotcha. I don't have anything. I don't like.
That's fine.
I don't know. Dyne, if you have anything that would help here.
You're always competent enough to make a pilot check.
I'll do a pilot check. I'm just going to do a flat D20, see what happens.
I will only give you the option to roll if there is a chance for success.
Okay. I rolled a 14.
Okay. Chimera, you knew what you were looking for, which was you're trying to follow up on the emails that were sent from and to this office specifically. That other control terminal was just like CC'd on those things, right? Like this is where that data was coming in and out of. As you start looking through information regarding that, you find something very intriguing, Chimera, which is you find evidence of an expansion of the tethering program. In fact, what it seems to be is exploratory investigations made at where else in Cygnian space can they start to pilot tethering programs. And you find a database full of likely targets, planets that would be good candidates to get a tethering program installed there. Places that have a lot of raw materials, that have like gas extraction, mining, those kinds of processes seem to be what it is listing here. But it is a variety of other planets in Cygnian space that they are considering secretly starting tethering programs on.
I don't like this is in character. What? Dyne, look at this. They're expanding the tethering program. They're gonna do this shit. I'll just gesture at the screen like you see this shit. Is there any planets I recognize, Bob? Sorry.
Go ahead,
Evelene. In apogee material and material space, you know what planet you see.
Yeah.
What's the name of that planet, Evelene?
You motherfucker. This is to the screen, not to you, Bob. Although I guess technically it is to you indirectly since it's your world. Rhyolite.
There, as one of the maybe dozen planets in apogee material and material space, Rhyolite, your home planet, is being bandied up, at least, as one of the options for the tethering program.
I'll just sit down for a minute and just kind of soak it in.
Dyne's going to look over, notice this, and then just, I guess he'll pull out a UMD and just immediately begin downloading as much as he can. He probably only has like one UMD on him.
Yeah, and that's more than enough. A UMD has like a hard drive's worth of space on it, basically. Right. It is, you are able to download basically all the emails you're able to basically copy, as well as the database, which lists all the planets across apogee material, Lev integrated technology, and unfolding Moravec space that have been identified as producers of large amounts of natural resource that they would be able to hide a tethering program on.
Okay. I go, I think this is what we're going to be able to get out here. We should probably meet up with Astro and Steve.
Speaking of which, would it be about now, Steve?
I would think
Actually,
so.
Can I have a quick moment real quick?
Totally.
So the guy who we disabled is just
oh yeah, he's just in pain. He's been shot and you pulled him out of the device.
I would have pulled him out of the device and put him tied him up and put him in a corner, essentially.
Yeah. So he's just in the corner, just gagged and waiting, just doing nothing.
Pretty much.
Evelene, you said you shot him in the arm?
Yeah.
Evelene's gonna run over and kick him in the arm wound.
He exclaims as he falls over to one side, clutching his arm, but unable to move his arms because he's tied up.
She's also gonna sucker punch him.
I'm gonna, as this is happening, I'm gonna like tap Evelene's shoulder and I go, I know you want to take out your anger, but we need to go.
As
you can get one more in.
You guys get a message as Evelene is in the midst of like hitting this man. That means that it is Dyne who sees this message come across. It is a one-line message from Steve that just says, Astro needs help.
Does it give a location?
Steve?
If I would think so. Yeah, because it's I would think so.
It is a location on the map Astro sent you that is marked on your map.
Okay. I go, okay, I see the message and I go, Astro needs help. We need to go now.
Okay, I'll stop mid kick and I'll come.
All right. And then this is going to take you some more time to get over to where Astro is, because you've not charted the space between engineering and command.
Yeah.
I'm going to need both of you to make me a pilot check to represent how you navigate the space between. If either of you fail, there will be a complication you run into on the way to get to Astro. If both of you fail, there will be a major complication on your way to get to Astro.
All right.
Okay.
So tell me what you're doing, because that's important. Depending on how good the idea is, I might give you accuracy or something like that, but normal pilot checks.
We have a map, so that's a starting point.
All right.
Go ahead.
I think I'm going to go with spot because I'm trying to lead down an area that we only have a map of, but we aren't familiar with. So I'm trying to lead both of us while trying to keep accurate to the map based on what we know.
Uh-huh.
I think that's reasonable for what Dyne would be doing.
Totally ready for a spot check for you then. This is going to be a straight up and down check with spot.
I failed.
Ooh.
An 8.
All right. And then, because before I determine what happens, I need to see both rolls. What is Evelene doing to help?
Given the fact that Astro is supposedly in trouble, well, he is in trouble, but I think this is
allegedly in trouble.
Allegedly.
So
I have it under good authority that he might be in trouble.
I know a guy who says that he might be in trouble. This feels like something that requires a amount of speed because we're rushing. Not to mention that I think Evelene's a little heated right now, so I think stay cool might be a good way to her to focus on getting there. Like, she definitely needs that concentration.
Yeah, I'm totally up for that.
Yeah,
unfortunately, that's not going to be an accuracy or anything. That's just an expected way forward here.
I figured as much, but I don't have much to work with at the moment. All right, regular roll. Here we. Oh my God, it's a 7.
The dice giveth and the dice taketh away. You guys ran into no complications all last session, and now you can't stop failing.
It's really fun when you roll for the other side, and then you
roll your way. Yeah.
I mean, if it rains, it pours. I guess.
All right.
When it rains, it pours.
With that, Dyne and Evelene, you are almost on your way to go get to where Astro is. You're not getting any other responses over the comms, either from Steve or from Astro. Things have gone entirely dark. You don't have an Omni hook, so you can't try to contact the people outside, but your other two team members are completely dark. You're not sure what happened. Maybe a part of that is in the back of your mind as you're traversing these hallways, and that is part of the issue. But as you're about halfway, I would say, no, you're most of the way to where you need to get to. You round a corner, and what awaits you there is something spectacular. It is a Small, human-sized, entirely mechanical being. It is a robot. Not a tethered, not some sort of android. It is a completely robotic being. But as you step into the hallway, it spreads its pieces out like an angel unfurling its wings, like it was waiting for you. It is lithe. It is tall like a praying mantis. It has 2 giant steel scythes like a praying mantis, and 2 gigantic, what at first seemed like wings, you realize were just shoulder attachments that as they spread out, a dozen small ordnance pods fire down the hallway at you. I need you both to make a reaction check to not get blown up.
Stay cool.
This is, by the way, what if Heavy Arms was a praying mantis? That's what you've run into.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So Death Scythe plus Heavy Arms?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
All right, here we go. 13.
Fuck.
All right. You both dive out of the way, but Dyne, you are taken off balance just enough that as you dive away, an explosion, the force of it, the concussion wave of it catches you in the back and sends you hurtling farther than you expected. You're not hit by the explosion itself, but that is poor consolation as you are crumpled against the far wall. You're going to take 2 concussive pilot damage here.
Okay.
You hear a slow clinking in the hallway. As you can tell, it is slowly advancing. What do the 2 of you do?
While I am like crumpled against the wall and it's slowly moving, I would like to do a spot check to look for a hallway or a safe space somewhere close that I can not be in direct line of fire.
Okay, make a spot check to find cover.
18.
Nice.
What kind of cover do you imagine Dyne finding?
I would imagine probably like an incline, maybe somewhere with some boxes, somewhere that will at least let him duck out of sight. Because I would imagine not the entire place is not like perfectly put together, even this far in, right?
Yeah, no, it's still being built. So you're able to find an area where like some access panels are just left open because you can tell there's like even a drop cloth down in there because there's been work done there recently.
Yeah.
All right, so you basically dive and roll into a little out of the way space.
Never mind. I'll save that for later.
Evelene, you hear the slow clinking advance of these small metallic spines this thing uses as feet as it advances down the hallway. What are you doing?
I don't know. You mentioned before that on multiple occasions that a lot of this area is incomplete.
Yeah, totally.
Is there any thing I can sort of knock down to create a barrier between me and whatever the flip this thing is? Cause a little bit of rubble.
I am going to roll a random chance die for you. I'm going to roll a d20. And if it's 10 or above, there is 4. No, this is a relatively cleaner hallway. There is no clutter left here.
Okay. So there's nothing in the hallway like rails or your standard out of the box.
It is
white hallway.
A industrial corporate hallway that just happens to have a robot praying mantis of death.
Okay.
By the way, for both of you, this is incredibly advanced for the robotics in this world. Something that looks like this usually cannot be made this small.
Fantastic.
It seems slow. I wonder if we can outrun it. Knock on wood. I mean, we haven't seen it move fast, so we can't assume that. Is this the only way to get toward Astro, Bob, or are there alternative paths that would take longer?
Finding another path might be a pilot check. If that's the way you want to deal with this, you can try.
I don't think we have the resources to deal with this thing directly, especially with we have guns. That is it.
You do? Yeah, that's correct.
I think this thing is made to handle guns. Can I try to see if there's an alternative path we can take to outrun this?
Make a check based on the schematics you have.
I don't think I have anything that would help here, so it's going to be a flat d20, I think.
Okay.
I can't overdo stay cool here. All right, here we go. 15.
Chimera, there is definitely a way around. The only downside is it takes you through a completely unfinished part of the station. The only reason you didn't take that way is because you would have to dodge your way past a bunch of construction work. But now that seems like maybe a better idea than going through the death bot.
Yeah, actually, let's do that. I have an idea that if we can take the death bot through that part of the unfinished, I have some ideas we can do. So
you send a message to me, I assume.
Yeah, I'll inform you. Let's go this way. This is not worth dying for.
Deathbot, just to inform you, Deathbot is a copyrighted or trademark term, so just, be careful.
Well, luckily, Taratella isn't here right now, so they're going to get away with it.
Yeah.
We get an automated message from Astro saying Deathbot is a trademark term. Please do not use that word without my permission over this link.
So I assume we just do that, Bob? There's nothing
totally. You head that direction. Orion, I assume you roll out of your hidden location and follow behind Chimera. You are able to get to a very unfinished part of the station. So unfinished, in fact, that they have turned off the artificial gravity in this area because it is way easier to do construction without it in some ways.
That's fair.
Also, guess what? Also, life support is turned off in that area. Luckily, you guys have your hard suit, so you can, just switch on your the spacesuit mode for your hard suit to get through the area. But it's almost like going into space to enter this area. You have to wait at an airlock as you step in, the air evacuates, and you move in.
Can we tell if the my voice is dying. Can we tell if the monstrosity is following us?
Very slowly, behind you, you hear the clinking of metal down the hallway in the distance. And as you turn back to look, you stall for just long enough for it to turn the corner. It catches sight of you, and before you can blink, it fires another missile. Luckily, you have enough warning this time that you both just fucking book it and get down the hallway before it can catch up to you. But it is falling behind you.
Can I want to do multiple things, but let's do one step at a time. You mentioned there was an airlock.
Yes, you have reached the airlock that goes to the unfinished segment.
Once we get through the airlock, can I disable it? Well, actually, I doubt this thing is going to mess with the airlocks anyway. It's probably just going to blast it.
You'll find out.
Let's ignore that. Next thing, if there are any narrow segments, as we're one, do we get through the airlock?
Yeah, there is nothing that stops you. If you guys move into the unfinished segment, it just takes time. You move into the airlock, you wait for the air to evacuate, all the time knowing that the thing behind you is advancing. It opens into vacuum, and all of a sudden the sound disappears again, which means you also no longer hear the advance of the thing behind you, no longer with there being any air to carry the vibrations as you float into this unfinished segment of the station. It is a little bit more claustrophobic than being in space because you don't have all of space around you as you float through the vacuum in this part of the station. You are still surrounded by walls, but no life support here. The cold causes a very slight condensation on the inside of your masks from your breath, but then as things kind of equalize, you almost feel like you're on a spacewalk, but inside a small room.
So I've never actually used this skill trigger because I didn't know how it exactly worked when I picked it, but I've had it. I have survive. Persevere through harsh, hostile, and unforgiving environments. And I think being in space outside of an airlock qualifies for that.
Okay.
So as someone who has it, and with it, I assume experience with it, can I help Chimera better modulate her current state so that we can both move as efficiently as possible through
to get through
these
this
hallways?
area? Yeah. So this is an entire segment you're moving through. There's clutter everywhere. There are hazardous areas everywhere. There is literally sparking panels you see as you're floating through this area. This is a hazardous place. Orion, you can absolutely use survive to get through this.
This is what... like session 120, 121, and I'm being able to use this for the first time.
Well,
and I rolled an 8.
Oh my god.
Rolled an 8. That is unfortunate. You try to help Evelene through, but the problem is she slows you down, and you cannot make up for her slowing you down with your skill. You have to take your time to move safely or risk electrocution, depressurization. You know more than most because of your survive that, and especially I assume this comes partly from your experience being on a Farfield team.
Yep.
One of the most dangerous things in an unpressurized environment is things that are pressurized. It is like you're in a room where you're surrounded by bombs. If any panel into a pressurized location gives out, that wall segment is exploding into you, right? That is how that works. If you open a door incorrectly, the blast of pressure that could hit you could tear apart your suit. It is very dangerous. So you have to take it slow. And slow means that you turn around, and as you're moving through and moving under and moving past some of the rubble here, you catch a bit of the door as it opens. You cannot hear the thing advancing, but you know the door has opened. You don't see it move into the room, and now you don't know where it is. What do you do?
How big is the room?
It is not just a room, it's a whole section. It's like you've moved past some rubble where you were able to like peek over the rubble to see that the door opened and closed, but not actually see the mantis spot. So you know the door opened and closed, but you don't hear anything, so you don't know where it is in here anymore. But the room you're currently in is about the same size as a room, not a hallway. It's more like you're in a room.
Okay.
I'm going to message Chimera and basically say, with all of the stuff in this room, do you think you can create a distraction to send it down a wrong path, at least temporarily?
Yeah. I think I can.
Because there's like electric panels, there's wires, there's all this construction crap.
Yeah, I was actually going down that path before, so what I'd like to do is set off, so there's probably some paneling or electricity somewhere. I would like to set off some sort of interaction, so like maybe like, I'm thinking like, so there's standard stuff you would find in any room, space or otherwise, so like lights or smoke detector. Well, we established safety is not their number one concern here. Something that would interact with power. I would like to enable that, so basically set up like turn on some lights or have like a flashing light or set off the smoke detector in an area away from where we are. If power is an issue, I could probably use one of the mag clamps as a battery pack. Because I only used one. I assume I have at least two. It could be weird to only have one.
Okay.
So this would be a distraction with gadgets. Or actually, creative engineering might be better here. That gives me more modifier.
This is definitely distraction with gadgets. Unfortunately, you cannot use creative engineering for everything.
Fair enough.
But
then
this is absolutely distraction with gadgets. And I'm going to give you accuracy for using your Mag Clamps power source.
Yeah, it's not powerful enough, so like I would not have been able to use it back in the control room. But I think for literally enabling all
you're just causing some like distractions. It's a distraction with gadgets. Yeah, totally.
Okay, let's roll the die in accuracy. Whew. 16.
With a 16, it works exactly as you had planned it, Chimera.
Huzzah!
The two of you continue to move forward carefully, picking your way past the most hazardous locations. As you can tell in the distance from the movement of, you sent it down a direction where it would have to move past rubble to get to you. And it's fairly large, even as small as it is. From a distance, you start to see that rubble moving, knowing your plan worked, because it's probably moving it out of the way to go investigate.
Not that I want to jinx it, but I was sort of half expecting it to use missiles to clear any rubble out of the way, but this is fine too.
It doesn't have infinite missiles.
I don't know. You established this thing was advanced. Maybe it does, or more than worth counting. I don't know.
There are people who might have infinite missiles. It's not these guys.
Okay.
You know the people who had the self-replicating like black goop stuff? Maybe they could make infinite missiles. I don't think these guys can. All right. You guys head forward. You are able to successfully reach the other end and the other airlock to get out of here. You do know that using the airlock is relatively noticeable, but do you chance it anyway?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
What's the alternative anyway?
I don't know. I don't solve your problems. I solve your solutions.
I feel like you present our problems.
That's correct.
I don't think that we have the time to, investigate alternative.
You pile into the airlock. As the air fills back up around you, you hear sound coming back to you, and you were able to move into the other part of the station.
And we will proceed the shortest route to Astro, hopefully leaving no limited trail that it can follow. Even though it knows we came in the airlock, it doesn't know exactly where we're going. So hopefully we're out of sight by the time it bursts its way in.
You, luckily, have, through your last few successful checks, gained enough of a lead that if you head directly away from it, it does not see you.
Great.
Through avoidance, you were able to successfully evade it. You make your way through the ship, through the station, and are able to eventually route a course to the location you were given for Astro. You come past the hallway with all the collapsed tethered that you knew that Steve and Astro had been complaining about and wanted you to fix. They're all collapsed on the ground, completely out of order. You come to the door, and as it opens into the logistics room, it's as I've described before, except you see Astro splayed out on the ground.
I look around. Is there anybody else there?
There's no one else in this room.
Is there any signs of like a struggle or damage or of any sort?
No, there's
Astro's
no signs.
Guns are on the ground.
Oh yeah, Astro's guns.
That's probably what would stand out the most.
Totally. Astro's guns are close to you guys, like close to the door. You see Astro's two weapons on the ground as soon as you open the door, and then you look over to Astro, who's on the other side of the room.
When you say his two weapons, is the weapons we've seen before, or does that include the special pistol?
No, the special pistol's in his backpack.
Okay.
You have not seen that yet. Yeah.
I'll run up and do like a basic, is he alive check.
Yeah, I mean, that won't even take, a pilot check. You just quickly check his vitals. It's like he's still alive, but he is under. Also, he's pretty injured. Like he's taken a fair amount of pilot damage, but so are you, right?
Yeah.
He's not that much more hurt than you are. But he is out. He's out like a light.
I'm going to... Is his Omni Hook present, or has it been taken?
That's a question for Steve. I think you took it, huh?
Yeah, I would have taken it, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's gone.
But they don't need it.
Okay, so there's no way to reach outside anyway. We're in the logistics office. Is there a communication device?
There is, yes.
Okay. I would like to send, because I know like the frequency for my mech, can I send a frequency to the Prometheus using a signal that Artemis would recognize and therefore accept?
Oh no.
Oh, yes. You know how to send a message to Artemis, even from a frequency she doesn't recognize, so that she knows it's you. Like that is a thing you have well established with her, absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to send a message that just says, activate, Astro has been disabled, Steve is missing, stay on guard.
Okay, and you've opened like a two-way communication, or did you just transmit to her?
I transmitted that with the intention of we need to get out of here now.
Okay.
So, and Artemis has autonomy.
She's on guard. Yeah, you know, you can trust that she received that message, but if you did not open a two-way communication with her, she does not respond. You just know she received that message. And if you can trust her to do what you tell her to, that's probably what she's doing.
And also, as the last part of the message, I would have given her permission to use one of the two core powers I have.
Okay. She knows she has that as an option then.
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely.
So we still have our individual group comms, right?
You do. You do still have your individual group comms.
I'm gonna send the message saying, Steve, where the hell are you?
No answer, I assume?
I assume not.
Okay. I'm going to grab Astro, and I go, Chimera, we need to get out of here.
I'm going to spend 5 seconds looking in the room to see if there's anything worth
You look around the room, Chimera, and on the walls there are various displays that show outside of the station. The current situation outside of the station is this. The Oath rebels who were guarding the station for you and protecting it to prevent the Operation Nucleus from coming down on you guys. There is way more of them out there than you remember coming here with.
Okay.
That's all. That's what you notice when you look around the room. You look around the room and you're like, oh, more of them showed up. And in the distance, you see some of them are peeling off to go hold off additional reinforcements coming from Operation Nucleus.
Okay.
So there are things popping off outside right now, you know.
I'm conflicted. I'm trying to play the character correctly.
I mean, these, as far as Evelene's concerned, are her allies, as far as she knows.
No, I'm thinking about the room itself. I'm going to assume that Astro did everything he wanted to do in this room. So, yeah, let's get going.
As you jostle and pick up Astro, you vaguely start to regain a bit of consciousness. You're drowsy, you're groggy, your legs aren't working right, but you feel someone jostling you and trying to lift you.
Can I mutter anything?
You can absolutely mutter. Muttering is cinematic.
I'll say, Steve, where's Omni Hook? I need the Omni Hook.
Omni Hook is missing.
Steve, where's the Tweety Bird? Steve, it's not working.
Dyne will do a quick scan. Do any of the screens show our mechs on them?
Yeah.
Out of curiosity.
Yeah, there are close range cameras to the station that shows 3 of your mechs right where you left them.
Okay.
Okay.
The Tweety Bird isn't among them.
Then before we leave, I'm going to go back over to the logistics station and send Artemis another quick message. Blow open the door. We'll be out in a few minutes. We're not screwing with trying to get that door open.
Subtlety is gone at this point.
They already know we're here.
True.
Astro just said, "Don't let ABC leave."
Okay.
Astro, you vaguely get a look around the room as you're being carried away by Dyne. And you can see where the attaché case would have been in this room. The bulletproof glass is open and the attaché case is gone.
Okie doke.
All right. The three of you start running out of this station with Astro. It takes you a little bit of time, and in about 2 or 3 more minutes of groggily waking back up, Astro, you start to feel good enough that you think you can make your way on your own. You've gained some effort back. You're just really sore all over.
Okay. Once he's more coherent, while we're running, he's gonna fill them in and say, Steve and Jessica, they're working with the Noesis mandate. He stole the data we found.
What?
He's taking it back to the mandate.
What data?
We found in the fleet room. They're building a huge fleet, one that's bigger than Corsac. That's what Operation Nucleus is. It's a gigantic operation to create a huge military force.
So there's going to be a war.
Yes.
Boy. Okay. Things are starting to come together.
He killed RC.
Well, you can't blame him for that.
It's a person.
I suspected as much. Shit. All right, we need to get back as fast as possible. I wonder if the DBC is even present, if operable. How much access did Jess have access to the DBC?
Astro knows the answer to that question.
Full access.
She had just gotten it from him recently.
Yeah, there was a point of that.
I said she has complete access. We need to let the rebels know they can't let the DBC leave. Shoot it down if they have to.
What about Curry?
Disabled engines. I don't know, but we need to get back so we can tell them, warn them.
That's assuming that she's leaving on the DBC and not leaving the DBC here inoperable.
I'm starting to think these guys don't care about Diltep.
Yeah, what about Diltep and that captured scientist you had on the DBC?
Okay, that guy, I don't.
Yeah, no one really gives a shit about him. I get that.
But
yeah, I get it. Yeah.
You would be correct.
Look, I don't even remember that scientist's name. That's how much I care.
The only reason I know is because it's in my Obsidian notes.
All right. Well, let's get back to our mechs, and we should at least be able to tell where the DBC is if it hasn't left.
You all make good time working your way through the station. As you eventually get back to where you know the exit was, where you left your mechs, you get to an area that is emergency patched. It seems that atmosphere in the area ahead had quickly evacuated. So like a safety patch had lowered down into the hallway in front of you.
Yeah.
Quick question. As we're moving along, and Astro gains more mobility, he's going to check his bag for the UMD that had all the unfolding Morvek spy data.
That is still there.
Okay. At least I have that.
Nothing in your backpack is missing except for your Omni hook that was on your person.
Okay, and that means...
Steve left you in a position where if you get away from this, and God knows how you're going to do that, I sure as hell don't, then you've succeeded.
And then he also didn't take the secret copies I made of the fleet data.
We all like to have little flights of fancy, don't we?
All right. He's
just to put this in terms that you've heard before, but I want to point this out. You know, despite not having that data, you know the data exists. You know that this is true. Like, it is not taking anything away from you except for your ability to utilize it or prove it. Your allies know you're not lying to them when you go to tell. Like, I don't imagine a situation where Ren's like, well, unless you have the data disk to back it up, I don't believe they're building a big army. Like, you will still be able to warn your allies about it. You just won't have the specifics.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm on the same wavelength. I'm like, this is information we still need to get back to the dialectics ASAP. Even if we don't have the data, they need to know. We just won't be able to get concrete information about it or anything. So, yeah.
All right. So you get to the patch. What do? You know that the way out to your suits is just beyond this.
Are we close enough that I can direct message the Prometheus?
Yes, absolutely.
I send a message saying, door in our way. Can you remove it?
You get a message back that says, I already removed the door. If it's that far in, I'll blow you up.
I go, we'll move much farther back.
You get the computer equivalent of a sigh and an agreement.
I go, get the fuck back, as we immediately run back.
She gives you just enough time to get away before, the patch gets torn off. She doesn't have to use explosives for this. The patch is like very lightweight, but a single blast from one of your main weapons just lances through the area as atmosphere throws you all into outer space. You are all ejected into space as soon as like the area starts depressurizing.
As we fly back, I try to grab onto the Prometheus so that I'm not fully ejected.
Yeah, no, you don't get thrown that far, but you are ejected from the station. As you exit, the Prometheus is there and catches the three of you together. Your other two mechs are here as well.
Okay, I was gonna say I just loaded into my mech. Go ahead. Sorry.
The three of you load in.
I'm going to do a quick look over on my mech. Like, when I say quick, I mean like 30 seconds, just to make sure there's not any obvious signs of sabotage.
There is not.
Okay, yeah, I'll jump in.
As soon as I have communications up, I'll message the DBC and say, DBC, come in. Jessica, are you there? Is the DBC moving?
You don't detect it.
I don't even see it? Okay.
You don't detect the DBC.
I'll open a line to our rebel friends. What's that guy's name that I've been talking to?
The most recent one or the original one?
The most recent one.
All right. So you reach out to Werner Austin.
Werner Austin, and the original one was
the shipping guy.
The shipping
Diddly
guy.
darn.
Diddly darn. I'll reach out to Werner Austin first. I'll say, Status report.
Oh. Hey, this is Astro?
Yes.
Hey,
What's going on?
We had to call some reinforcements because the assaults from the nucleus keep getting worse and worse. I didn't know we were scheduled to get reinforcements, but
don't trust them. No.
I mean, but there are guys. Listen, I'm gonna have to put you in touch with my boss, since he's in charge of the situation now. So I'm gonna patch you over to him.
What do you mean he's in charge now?
My boss is here. He'll want to talk to you.
Did he come with the reinforcements?
Yeah.
Who was commanding before they arrived?
Diddly darn.
I'll just message Diddly darn. I'll hang up on him.
How dare both of you say that with a straight face?
I have made sillier names.
This very dramatic
I don't know
moment
about
I have.
this one, man.
Diddly darn, no!
Okay,
Jay,
you call Diddly darn. Diddly darn answers. He goes, "Oh, hey, you got out.
Where's the DBC?
Oh yeah, your ship's the other guy who was with you took your ship.
Where'd it go?
Away?
Can we follow it?
Listen, I'm not in charge of this situation anymore. I'm gonna have to patch you into our commander."
No, they can't be trusted.
What are you talking about? He's my commander. I know him.
You weren't expecting reinforcements.
No, we weren't, but I'm glad they came. We have people holding off one of them Merc crews right now. If it weren't for them, we'd have the fucking share seal down on top of us.
Steve betrayed us, and he has ties with the rebels.
Listen,
no one
I can't.
Can be trusted right now. You have to pick us up. We gotta leave. Leave the reinforcements.
I'm gonna patch you into my commander.
No.
As the line switches.
He sighs.
You watch in the field of a few of the remaining defenders in front of you. You know Diddly Darn is in one of the ships. You know that Werner is in one of the ships. A mech floats forward. It is gigantic. It is a huge mech. You've not seen the rebels have things like this before. It is of a make and model that is odd, and it catches you by surprise, Comet, because you've seen this happen to your computer systems once before. As you try to scan the mech that is approaching, you get no data. It says, "Warning, frame not present or invalid," as a connection comes over your systems. Is this Astro Jamin?
Yes. Who am I speaking to?
The voice changes. A resonant sort of sound comes over, slightly obscuring the voice, but getting the meaning across as you hear,
"I am Maximus Seros, Paladin, and I demand you stand down."
Oh no.
What have you done?
"We are here at the request of our brother, and he said that you must be delayed. So delay you I shall."
While I'm having this conversation, can I try something?
What do you want to try?
Can I try transmitting the call I'm having to Diddly Darn's ship?
Sure, you can. You can patch them in.
Can I do it in a way that doesn't make Paladin aware?
You can try. That is going to be a pilot check.
Yes, it is. So I'll try to open some technobabble, an encrypted channel to Diddly Darn ship, and force the connection open so it's going to override any other like communications he has. It's kind of like I'm like hijacking like the radio waves,
Okay, I get you.
Max headroom sort of thing. And I'm going to try to secretly transmit that to him. I will roll. Wow, this is so weird. My skill triggers are back to rank 1 again.
I've
we're
been
gonna have to figure out-
sabotaging you this whole time.
We're gonna have to figure out what the hell's going on there.
Wait, have you been sabotaging me?
No.
He doesn't even have access to your sheet in that way. The only thing I can think of is, did you sync your sheet with the Foundry sheet?
Huh.
Because if you
know.
did, it might be trying to default to what it's finding on the sync instead of what you're putting in.
That's when I look at sync, it says last synced and nothing's there.
Okay, we will figure this out another
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
but we know
it's
what they
just
should
weird.
be. Yeah.
It's 6. I fixed it again, so I'll roll hacker fix with +6, 16.
All right, you successfully patch Diddly Darn in.
I'll say, why are you doing this? The rebels are on your side.
Of course they are. They've always been on our side. We are them.
But you're using them.
We're not using them. We are them. This cell is run by Tabitha. She is my mentor. They are us, and we are they.
Is the original group of rebels we came in with from the same cell?
Yes, they are.
Oh,
They're all
okay,
from
well,
the same cell.
So much for that idea. I'll say, I don't understand.
Are we all listening? Like,
don't.
are we?
Oh yeah, he doesn't stop you. Like, he transmitted to all of you. He's transmitting on public, right? He didn't enter he's not being secretive.
Oh,
Okay,
if I had known that, I wouldn't have even honestly bothered.
He did not patch in his allies. I'm saying he's not being secret from you guys.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he opened a communal channel to your team. He like a knight of old is announcing himself to you.
Right.
Okay, then I would like to respond. Okay, so you want to stall us. What do we get from stalling other than death? Either we die fighting you, or we get stalled and then die.
We are no allies of the corporations. Stand down, and I will ensure your survival.
What does that mean?
That means we will take you into captivity. We will take you back to our leaders, and they will decide what is to be done with you.
Oh, good. Another form of death.
I mean, do we have a choice?
Can I open private connection just with God, what are your names? Evelene and Dyne.
Yeah, absolutely. So their forces are being distracted right now. He let slip that Shareseal is here, the very scary mercenaries who work for the corpse.
Uh-huh.
A big wing of their people are off holding off Shareseal right now. This guy, plus like 4 other ships, are the people blocking your way right now. It's like him, Diddly Darn, Werner, and 2 other guys. It's a group of 5 standing in your way. All of the other members of this rebel group, all of the other parts of this oath cell, are off trying and failing to fight Shareseal. But this guy does not seem to be concerned about that. But you know, if this takes too long, Shareseal will arrive as well.
I'll say to the group, they can't hold off the reinforcements forever. We can outwait them. We can go back into the station. Maybe there are escape pods.
You should note that Share Seal will kill you as well.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think
you are now.
Hence what he just said after that.
Okay.
Is maybe there are escape pods we can use to get us down to the moon.
That's what I wanted to tell you. On your close range sensors, there is an escape pod hovering in space.
Hovering in space?
There is an escape pod from the DBC that is hovering in space nearby.
Okay.
Because you are from the DBC, you have its IFF signal. As soon as you guys came out of the station, your sensors would have picked up, hey, over there, just beyond these guys, is an escape pod from the DBC.
I'm going to take a wild guess as to who's in there.
Yeah. Would other people know this escape pod is there?
If they knew to look for it, like literally it is because it is locked to your sensors, you know it's there, but they could have happened to find it just like anyone could have.
Sure.
But if they did, they didn't do anything about it because it's still floating there.
How many people can fit in an escape pod?
Usually up to 6, but that's no guarantee that there's 6 people in there. You know what I mean? Like an escape pod can usually finish, like especially for the size of ship the DBC is, can fit like a small work crew in it.
I'll say, final question, can an escape pod be entered in from the outside? Like, does it have an airlock?
It can, but it'll depressurize. There's no airlock. If you open, you would need to dock with it, right? To open a pressurized connection between two things. If you just open it in space, the inside will depressurize.
Okay. Is it on course or is it floating?
It's just floating. It's floating behind the people in front of you right now. The DBC was further away from the station. Between you and this escape pod is
okay. So
this
they're
guy.
Blocking it though. Okay.
Yeah. The frame you don't have any info on, but he is call sign Notice, and he announced himself as Maximus Saros. That is who is between you and the escape pod.
With another question, with Effic, before we left on this mission, did I establish like a emergency channel to call, or was that I know I did that one time with like a code word.
You still have an emergency channel you can call for Effic. Yes. You know that at this point, any involvement with you will completely burn her identity.
Right.
But it exists. That is on the table still.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend using that just because I don't think it's a smart idea to burn her cover.
As you all deliberate, this guy, this paladin, steps forward, motions to the other mechs. They spread out in a kind of aggressive formation as it holds this long, gigantic hammer out, pointing all of you, and says,
"The Noesis mandate does not negotiate. Stand down now or die."
Dyne, can Artemis distract them long enough for us to get away?
I can certainly try.
Or should we just stand and fight?
You know that Artemis on her own will not last against them. You quickly size up their mechs. These are the same infringements and frauds and bombers that you guys fought. Remember when that space platform was raided?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You fought these kinds of things before. There is an infringement, a fraud, and 2 bomber ships, which you guys know are basically minions. So there's 2 minions, 2 slightly larger ships, and then this guy. That is what's in front of you.
Astro, I want you to think about this rationally. I think if they wanted us dead, if Steve wanted us dead, he would have been dead on that planet. The fact he wanted us to collect you suggests to me that this isn't a death sentence. I don't know what that means.
It's not a death sentence, but
No,
it may be
it's
for other
enslavement.
people. We need to get this information to Ren by any means possible. We can't fall into the hands of the Noesis mandate. They can't be trusted.
Right.
So either we fight here or we go back in the station and try to find an escape pod. Do I think is that a normal thing for a station to have, like escape pods?
You could try. I don't think Astro would think that is an incredibly high yield option. Remember, this space station is still under construction, and they don't care a lot about their people, especially on these distal areas. Most of these outlying areas are not completely built yet. You had to get fairly far inward to reach completed areas of the station. So you would have to get a fair ways into the station to find anything like that, if it exists.
Completely above board, and I don't know this, but like your best bet would be the one commander dude having his own ship there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he does or not, but like that's what you'd be looking for.
That's technically a possibility. You would be abandoning your mechs too. They would be destroyed. Like if you left them unmanned, Artemis and your 2 mechs will be destroyed. Your other 2 mechs.
Yeah.
And then if you decide you want to fight later, you now won't have the option to, because your mechs will be gone. And if anyone intercepts your escape pods, you won't have a way to defend yourself. So I'm going to put that all in your hands. You can still decide if that's your best bet. And
was there a ship when we came in to the station?
I don't understand the question.
Was there like a ship docked to the station?
No, there was not.
So he probably doesn't have his ship we can steal.
Todd, the point I'm trying to make is to disregard the whole the books and all that for a minute. Or Astro, sorry, I need to be playing character. Disregard the books for a minute. You're making a lot of assumptions here. You're assuming there is an escape pod, and honestly, I'm
just discussing our options.
I know, but you're very determined to not to accept
all right,
captivity.
Evelene, if you want to turn yourself in, I don't blame you, but I'm staying here.
You're going to risk your life on an escape pod that may exist, or fight against numbers.
I forget the escape pod. Our best bet is to hold out until reinforcements get here, and they can't afford to deal with us anymore.
Reinforcements from the Corpos.
Yes.
The fact that we literally put an X on our back, based on the fact that we did that operation back on the planet, we're already on their shit list. Do you think they're gonna? You think if they're planning a war?
The time to talk for this is over. You want to hand yourself over? I don't blame you. I wouldn't ask you to put yourself in danger's way if you don't feel like it's right.
Hey, Astro, which mech are you on? Are you on the You're on the director's cut now, right? Not the Goblin.
The mise en scène.
Oh, mise en scène. Sorry, you've gone through so many mechs now. I'm trying to remember which one's which.
One last transmission comes over while you were discussing.
If you will not submit to our capture, then you choose death.
And it's initiative.
Before this combat starts, I'd like to send a message to him that basically says, live or death. Please give a message to Steve in these exact words. Fuck you. Whether or not he gives that is up to him. Right. But I feel like he's an honorable man.
Well, that is where we are going to end this session. As the 3 of you argue about what your best option for survival is, this paladin from the Noesis Mandate has decided that it is time for you to die. And we will see if you can avoid that fate the next time we play. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Oh, yeah. Real happy ending there.
We're all going to die.
This was a fruitful mission, I think, for everyone involved.
I disagree.
Hey, you guys just had a full repair, right? Like, you're all coming into this, like, topped off. You just are down one entire player.
Yep.
Yeah. That was the other thing. Like, we're literally working with, like, reduced
manpower.
Also.
Yeah.
That's something you'll have to figure out next time.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye. Bye.